Jimmy's dad just came in.
Hey, good stuff, family. Jimmy, I see your dad coming in. Let me let him in. Papa Sanderson. Okay. Hello, everybody's here now. Welcome. So, hello, good stuff, family. We're going to take a couple minutes to let people filter in. If you're watching, the best way we can tell that you are is if you comment in the comment section, okay? I'm going to keep an eye over here. Any questions that you have, viewers who are watching. But we're here. I'm Dawn Kendrick. This is my friend Doug Lee. And what we're doing when we come live to you through these StreamYards, we're going to have a revolving co-pilot seat here of Good Stuff family members who are going to, you'll see them on the Good Stuff page. So this way you'll get to meet them. And he is Daddy Doug to Jake and Jordan, who are staples on the Good Stuff page. They, again, family is ground floor Good Stuff family. And Mindy Lee is with Jordan. We're super grateful. They just came back from Delaware.
They're just in Delaware.
Yeah.
They had a National Registry meetings, and unfortunately, Jordan decided to have seizures and ended up in the hospital for 4 days.
It's scary. These are the Rhizo kids.
And we were very fortunate where we were because a lot of the doctors were aware of the situation, aware of the kids, so it really made a big difference. And we were fortunate to get out yesterday and make it home last night.
Yeah, and we say that because what the Good Stuff stories are real, raw, genuine, authentic, and vulnerable, and they uplift, encourage, and inspire. Daily, we stay rooted in gratitude in the Good Stuff family. Grateful that Jordan is back home when, after 5 years old, they're considered long-term survivors. We have 2 teenagers in this house that are surviving. So it all weaves. It's all woven together. And that's why we're coming to you now for it's Donate Life Awareness Month, April. All these people that you're seeing in front of me, I have goosebumps looking at you all, have a story to tell about why donating organs works. It works. And so I'm going to start right directly in the box next to us. Donna and Tim are staying from Virginia, correct? At the
Indiana.
From Indiana, and you're here in Cleveland at the Transplant House of Cleveland. It keeps saying that my Facebook has lost connection, so bear with me. I'm just going to keep trying. Okay, it says it's good to go. And Elaine Turley is my dear friend who I love like my own flesh and blood. The good stuff that you are part of and that you weave. She's the executive director at the Transplant House of Cleveland. And we're going to come back and get your stories. But if I can make the introductions, then there's Jimmy Sanderson. He's the kidney donor for his dad and his wife, Mendy Harvey, next to him, Harvey Sanderson. And James Sanderson down here is his dad, who is the recipient of Jimmy's kidney. Okay. And then Barb and Brian Lako down there, same deal, brother-sister combo there. Barb, 14 years ago, on April 17th, almost to the day, I did the story of at Channel 19 of Barb donating her kidney to little brother Brian. So this is how, when we bring you all together, we're hoping to raise awareness, but also to weave, because we believe in 2 things on the Good Stuff family. God weaves. Now, watch him work. Oh my God, get the next co-pilot in, next co-pilot. We need like an executive chair. God weaves, now watch him work. And together we can, together we will. So this is what we are hoping to do with telling these stories today. So thank you for joining. I see Emily's watching. Hi, Em.
Brian Andrews watching.
Right, that's actually Brian right here.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
I'm too hot part out there.
But Emily knows well too, because we invited Tracy Teig, who is so busy. There's so many good stories, but the sliver of liver giver, we could go on and on. But Emily, I'm glad you're here. So could we, what'd you say, Elaine?
We're laughing at sliver of liver giver.
Right? Isn't she the best? I love that story. We have 1 week left of Donate Life Month, so we're gonna try and get them on in the next week or so. So quickly, Donna and Tim, 10 months that you've been at the Transplant House of Cleveland, waiting on 2 hearts. Give me a window, Tim, into that world that you're in right now, in the waiting for the gift of life.
It's a double lung transplant.
Yeah, 2 lungs,
Not
Oh, what
heart.
did I say?
Heart.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I'm
Well, you
sorry.
have
I knew
They
that.
go hand in hand. They
Yeah,
work
yeah,
together.
our hearts are pretty good.
Yeah.
It's his lungs.
He's not
Maybe
a
I
lizard.
just
He
felt
only
it
has
in my
one
heart.
heart.
And I didn't even realize I said it. Yes, I knew that. So he needs a double lung transplant. And the thing is, because you're so tall, it takes a very definitive person to be the donor. And so you've been waiting for 10 months for
Right.
2 lungs.
Right. Yeah, because of alpha-1, it's a genetic disease, and it comes from your liver, produces a protein into the body, and mine's not delivering it, so attacking my lungs.
And what does that mean then? I think if we take for granted sometimes when it works correctly. If we woke up this morning and filled our lungs with air, get on with it already, right? Tell me how your world is different when you can't take that for granted.
It's scary, very scary. And when you can't breathe, I mean, it's hard to put it into perspective, but yeah, just climbing a few stairs, you're spent, and it takes time to recoup from that. But yeah, I'm living, I'm not going to give up. And
It's gratitude.
donors. We need donors.
Right. And Donna, so Elaine said that you end up doing all this work there and you've become this beloved family member. What is it like for you knowing what's at stake waiting on a donor?
Well, just the pressure of, really, when you think about transplant or any really major medical, the cost, you worry about the cost of the actual surgery itself. But then there's the extra cost, the incidentals of, like for us, having to relocate. So that means actually taking on 2 households because we still have our house back in Indiana. And then we're living here. And now we did have fundraising money, but we went through that after about 4 months.
Right.
So then the pressure was on month to month to be able to, pay our way here. So of course you've got, they're so great here. They really supply everything that you need to run a house.
Right.
You go in and everything's there for you, other than your food. But
Which they
it's
provide
expensive.
that
It's
once a week.
expensive. Yeah, they provide that once.
You're not going to starve around here.
No.
I remember when we visited, and people donate, all these great chefs in town. But that's a perfect introduction to Elaine. So 2014 is this transplant house was the inception, correct?
Correct. Yep.
And now I know you've added on. How many people do you know? How many people who have come through those doors roughly?
We've had more than, I think we're over 1,400 families now. And keep in mind, we grew gradually. So we started in July of 2014 with 7 furnished apartments here. A year later, we grew to 15. 2 years after that, we added 9 more. So now we're 25 apartments. And then this community space where pre-pandemic, we would gather together quite frequently for families to meet and support one another. So I think in that time, over 1,400 families. Quite a number of them are on the beginning phases of transplant, so that means they're coming to be evaluated to determine if they're medically a good candidate for transplant or not. And then others, like Tim and Donna, move here to wait for their organs here because the distance to home is so far that they wouldn't be able to get here in a timely manner. So we have some people waiting here for transplant and then many recovering here, again, because home is too far away, and as everyone on the screen knows, there's a lot of blood drawing and testing is going on immediately post-transplant.
Right.
So for liver and lung patients, they're told expect to be 4 to 6 weeks in the Cleveland area post-transplant. And for some, and it seems particularly long of late, it's been many months post-transplant until the patient is really well enough to go all the way home.
And again, if you're just joining us, Tim has been waiting 10 months here in Cleveland. You're centrally located so that all the hospitals, people can stay at the transplant house. Now, the difference between that interview, Donna and Tim, and the two others here represented, the two other stories, is that they had donors that they knew were available in Jimmy's case, he donated for his dad, and Barb was able to donate a kidney to Brian. So, Jimmy, will you give me a window into that? When you know that your dad's life is on the line, give me a window into your heart and your soul in that moment when you know that you're a match?
Once we found out that we were a match, I didn't have to think what. I just felt that I would do whatever it took to keep my dad.
It's not an easy decision, though.
Almost.
Yeah. It's been how long, Jimmy?
It was 5 years on January 9th.
And Doug, obviously, you've been friends with them forever, and you've seen the journey. Papa Sanderson, 5 years of give us a window. What is that like, knowing full well that you had the second chance at life?
Well, I was going to dialysis for about 30 months prior to the transplant, and I was on a waiting list. And then Jim came through and said he wanted to donate his kidney, which I was, overwhelmed by his decision. And it's given me a lot of freedom, because when I was doing dialysis, I was going three times a week for 4 hours each time.
Right.
And it's terrible. I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
Yep. And I see Barb and Brian nodding. Again, I first met them in 2014, did we say? 2007. Oh, yeah, because it's been 14 years, exactly. So that day of being in that pre-op with you all, I remember Barb saying, yeah, I love him. I'm going to do this, but I still can't get past it. When I was 9, he colored on my white dresser drawers. And I just thought, I love these people. I need to stay close to them. So,
it was brand spanking new, and they colored all over it.
Little kids.
Little did you know you were going to need her. But I felt it there in that OR. So tell me, back me up into your story, Brian, because you were a police officer at the time.
Yes.
Give me a window similar.
I worked out. I was active. Played a lot of basketball and leagues and stuff. And then I just started fading fast and health-wise. And I went, get my kidneys checked, and found out I got something called IgA nephropathy, and I it took years to decline, but when it finally did, it declined fast. And I went on dialysis, and I was only on dialysis, thank God, about 8 months before Barb offered me her kidney, which I didn't want any kidneys from my family. I was just going to sit and wait. But, I had small children at home. I raised 5 kids, and the oldest one at the time was 14. So I needed to get it done to raise my kids and finish my career.
Yeah.
So, and which I did when I retired last September.
Congratulations.
Nice.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I can say one thing with Jimmy and James. I know both of them really well, and Jimmy's father is an avid motorcyclist, and if it's not snowing outside, he and his wife are on that motorcycle going someplace.
Me too.
And it's like,
I don't have it on.
And Tim too.
Everybody here.
I knew the connection with Tim.
So I think if it wasn't for
Wow.
the fact that he didn't have to go to dialysis anymore and could get out and move, I think that made a big difference
Yeah.
in his life. And
That gave me a lot of freedom. You wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they know this also. I'm a bilateral amputee, which slows me down a bit. But I still ride the motorcycle. I
Oh, wow.
cut my own grass. I cut 2 of the neighbors' lawns for
Wow.
them. And I don't do that for pay. I just do them to help them out,
Awesome.
And right after I had my amputations, about a year later, Jim and I went skydiving.
Oh,
yeah,
Wow.
awesome.
Because you could. I'm going to because I can, right?
My wife told me I couldn't do it, and that made me want to do it.
There you go.
Now, Tim, I know you have there's a picture we weren't able to get on, but that you say you can't wait to hit the road again because you're an avid Harley rider.
Oh, right.
Oh,
Yeah, need them lungs. Yeah, I don't know. We actually had gotten a call yesterday and said that I was third in the line, possibly to get in lungs this weekend. So we're actually waiting for a call, hopefully, but fingers crossed, and God
I
willing.
hear you got 3 people waiting on or hoping on one set of lungs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 6'4", and I got Dr. Tarowski said I need that the average 6'4" guy needs 8.5 liter lungs, and I've got 11 liters. So
wow.
it's wild, it's crazy, but it'll happen eventually.
Can we talk about the donors too? Because
Oh, absolutely.
it's not lost on any of us here that for you to get the gift of life, a family is going to lose someone.
Man, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And, we got a big family back home, and I couldn't imagine losing any one of them. But to save a life, hey, I'd do it in a heartbeat for anybody. If I'm a donor. You don't want my lungs, but I guarantee you, anything else, everything else is perfect on me, but my lungs. And my chart shows that,
Yeah.
But I mean,
It's
And-
a bittersweet thing, that's for sure.
donate life. Can't say it enough. I mean, incredible that it's a tough pill to swallow. I went through the program at IU Methodist, which I hadn't seen the booklet here at Cleveland, and that's one thing that they tell you when you're going through the evaluation is that you cannot blame yourself for that person passing. That person was going to pass anyways, I mean, exactly, I mean, you could beat yourself to death about that, and then that'll take you down, you just can't go there.
And as we are doing this, Elaine is trying to keep an eye on a memorial service for Ashley Foster, who was the very first person to stay at the Cleveland Transplant House.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so Ashley came here July 20th of 2014, traveled here with her mom from Arizona by car. We hadn't opened yet. We didn't have our first staff person. I kept trying to tell her, take all the time you need to drive here because we're not quite ready. So she and her mom occupied our first apartment, and they ended up being here 3 years because these
3 years, y'all.
Wow.
These 4 organ transplants are so complex. So she did get transplanted. Sadly, we lost her last November. Her parents wanted to celebrate her life during Donate Life Month because Ashley was such an advocate for organ and tissue donation. Remarkable young woman. I think she was only 35, if I'm remembering correctly. And, as I said to her parents, as a parent, you can feel the pain of your child not meeting the landmarks that we hope for our children. And yet, Ashley touched hundreds upon hundreds of lives. She just, I told Dawn earlier, there couldn't have been a better person to help us establish the culture of this place, because it was very important to us that this feel radically welcoming, and that's who Ashley was. And no matter how she felt, she'd come to dinners, as you understand, and make sure everybody was part of the conversation. She had just enough humor and just enough sensitivity, and was very able to articulate some of what you were just talking about. To live and know that another family is grieving is a heavy load to carry. It's just complex. You almost can't give words to it. And for the listeners who don't know much about Transplant House, provide the housing, obviously, but we also provide support services overseen by our social worker, Annette Humberson, who's a clinical transplant social worker. So some of what she gets involved in is addressing these issues that people feel, whether you're staying with us or you live locally and don't need a place to sleep, you're welcome into the fold here to get the support, to find other people that understand and resonate with what you're going through. Because part of the world, get your lungs and you're better, right?
Yeah, right.
But it's not going to be that straightforward.
It's more complex than
Kidney
that.
recipients the same, even from a living donor.
Right.
It's now you have a lifetime of caring for this precious organ, and that alone is a big responsibility. It's a unique journey. It's not like getting your gallbladder out and then forgetting whatever happened.
Right.
Can we, real quick, Elaine, before did I interrupt you, Tim? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I just ran.
There's a little bit of delay, so I apologize. Please feel free, anything you want to say. But I'm going to see if I can pop this up at that's the donatelife.net. It's real simple. You guys, I clicked on it this morning because I want Elaine, do you think you can sit a little closer to your microphone, a little closer, Elaine, or no? Because this is so important. Explain to me something I hadn't thought of, that because of the renewal of the driver's license being longer, you have fewer opportunities to remind people to donate. So tell me how important it is that they go to donatelife.net.
Right. So at least here in Ohio, I think most states, when you get your driver's license for the first time or renewal, they will ask you, do you want to register to be an organ donor? And then it's there on your license, and that's very convenient. But here in Ohio, they're extending the length of time that a license is good. And don't quote me. It seems like it was 3 or 4 years, and now it might even be 8. So, there are fewer opportunities to, get somebody to sign up who might not already be. So the education becomes really important around how simple it is with an internet connection to go and register.
Donatelife.net. Every person you're seeing on this live stream, if you're just now joining us, knows how important living donors in Jim Sanderson and the Lakos, Brian and Barb Lako, and Tim and Donna up there at the top are waiting for. Unfortunately, he needs 2 lungs for very specific size, and so it means that donor family will be grieving. But what an ultimate gift to give, to be able to give. And it's not, we know, gratitude every single day for the breath that fills our lungs, for the kidneys that work, right? That's what I'm hoping to get for people listening, not only the important message for Donate Life Month, but to please, I'm talking to myself here as well, stay rooted in gratitude for all that you have.
Oh, absolutely. And real quick, going back to that, the Donate Life, again, for all of y'all out there that don't have a license or aren't qualified to get a license, tell a loved one that you want to be a life donor. In fact, that's one of the deals about right now, that again, you wait for the phone call, is for them to find out where the organs are going to go across the state. As part of it's not just one organ goes to somebody and that's it. No, this person's actually saving lives, of the 8 lives, of the 8 lives. So you got to keep that in mind, please. Because you're not just saving me, you're saving somebody with your heart, somebody else with your kidneys, your liver. So please donate. And real quick as well, is what we was talking about with the transplant house, is all the good that they do. Well, all the good that they do doesn't pay the bills. And for all of us that are staying here, with what they do, please donate. Donate everything you can. Please, if you have it, help. because we need it. They need it. You know, I mean, with what we're paying isn't paying the bills. You know, we could get in deeper about that, but we don't have to. But just donate, please. Your
And I'm
time.
glad, like you say, that the Transplant House of Cleveland is such a jewel, I say, in the crown of
Absolutely.
Cleveland. That my own story is that I had to have a cadaver ACL in my knee after I shredded it, according to the doctor, kickboxing. So that donor, it's not lost on me. It wasn't a life-saving transplant for me, but it was a lifestyle preserving. I can still work out, and I'm so grateful like every single day. And I think that person, that gift, how many other organs that he may have donated, or she, right?
Absolutely.
And
And
yeah,
sorry about that. And again, real quick, and then I'll shut up.
no, please, I'm
Go-
begging you. Keep
Again,
talking. It's all yours.
going to help the transplant house. Again, as I said, I went through the IU Methodist there in Indianapolis, and my wife and I were thought about getting double listed and talking with other. Again, not to throw anybody under the bus, but Duke. They don't have nothing like this transplant house.
Mm,
You know, they
for blessing.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You know, thank you for letting me say that.
Yeah. Well, so imagine me when I've spent 20 years as a reporter in Cleveland, and people will call and say, "Hey, will you be in our like celebrity dance off thing?" And I say, like, I can't say no quick enough. I'll say I'll MC it or share, but not just no, but heck no. Right. So imagine, look at Elaine laughing. Imagine when Matt and Lisa, who I did a story on, he was near death, and they were just about to get married, and here comes his life-saving gift. So they had the first annual Second Dance at Life fundraiser for the transplant house. They called me the day I was back to work off my surgery in my knee, a year after my dad had passed away from liver cancer, too advanced for a transplant. And I was all ready to say no. And I'm like, how am I going to say no? So I said yes. I stepped way outside of my comfort zone. It still makes me feel like I'm going to throw up thinking about, all those moves. And yeah.
Yeah.
But what I would love to do in the God Weaves, now watch him work. It's all of you have the Harley Davidson connection. I'm going to say give a shout out to Harley and say, what could we do to help, even just for starters, the Transplant House of Cleveland? And I say that when you get your new lungs, Tim, and you're all healed up, we're signing you up to dance. We'll do.
Now,
You better get ready.
Right.
Oh,
I'll come running, but I don't know.
way outside of your comfort zone. And
Right. Absolutely. You know, that's a big thing. You know, is again, I love to talk, but as far as talking in front of people, but absolutely, I'm not going to shut up once I get them lungs. It's time. We need to bring awareness to a whole lot of stuff. You know.
yes.
Yeah, without
So
doubt.
yeah, and Barb and Brian, is when you got the news that you needed this, you like you said, you have kids. What kind of thought process, Barb, goes into? Did you even have to think twice?
No. No, I never thought twice. I said, let's do it. Let's go.
Because what was at stake? Like we just take it for granted. But since then you've retired, Brian, right?
Yes,
Are you a grandpa yet?
October.
Congratulations.
One in the oven.
And all of this brought to you because your sister was willing to do it.
We were
Jimmy,
a perfect match. We were a perfect match.
Wow.
You couldn't get any more perfect.
No, not sure, twin.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was good.
Yeah. So it wasn't even.
Awesome. Yeah.
and Jimmy, I know, tough guy, Jimmy, ever jokester guy. It took you seconds to tear up because it's your papa.
Got it. I'd do it all over again.
New York minute.
The best, the absolute best. So we're going to reach out to Harley Davidson. It's not lost on me that a couple people were going to join in, and we're going to have to do them next week, like I said. But one woman, actually, you met her, Elaine, Brian Newbacher and Sonia. They came to the transplant house when we did that roundtable kind of Facebook Live. She is doing phenomenal. She got her kidney, and it came from a woman, a younger woman who passed away. Are you ready, you guys? It's not lost on me. In a motorcycle accident. So I just sit in awe of the things that, like, just the fact that you gave time out of your day, all of you, to be here today, that we pulled it together at the last minute. My prayer is just that, Father God, that you would weave and you would work blessings for Tim, who's waiting right now, that you would restore him to continue to be this amazing ambassador, and keep the Lakos healthy, and keep Jimmy and his dad healthy. And we ask you to use us from here forward, Father God. Weave in how we can get awareness and how we can save the lives that are worthy of saving. We give it all to you right now, into your hands, Father God. We deliver it all up to you in full confidence for the blessings already on their way, and for all those people waiting for transfers or for donations. We pray in your name. Amen.
Amen.
So I want to thank you guys so much. Is there anything else that you guys want to say that you think is important? I had some notes. I wanted to make sure we gave Ashley Foster a shout out. Anything else, Elaine, while we have people's ears, for the transplant house or for in general? Anyone?
Well, I want to say thank you to you, Dawn. You're so gracious and loving and celebrate other people, but we're the same person in a way. We're all the same people, in that you love everyone you encounter, and you love story, and you love sharing story, and that's also at the heart of the work that we do here. So we are all in this together, and for you to hold up, yes, pain and need and fear, and yet all the things that rescue us from the obvious, a transplant, but the connections that people make along their journey. I have a personal transplant story. My dad was a liver recipient, and I can remember just standing in awe. When you're in a divine light, and you just say, I would not trade where we are for anything, and I continue to feel that. It was a hard and scary journey, but the people that we met, the resilience that we witnessed, the capacity of the human spirit to heal and help others heal is just remarkable. So I celebrate you, Dawn, for sharing that, bringing all of that to light. And, on the topic of organ donation, which is what we celebrate this month and try and bring awareness to, it's a simple act to sign up, and it doesn't change anything about your living. This is a gift you can leave after you're gone. And the truth is, I won't get the stats exactly right, but of the people that are registered and to donate, a very, very small percent are actually able to in the end, like maybe 2%. Because of the way they die. You have to die in a hospital and be on life support. So people, sadly, that fall with a cardiac arrest or something and pass, cannot be organ donors because that heart has to be kept pumping artificially. Yeah. And as Tim said, someone is on life support and is brain dead right now, and 3 individuals, including Tim, are being lined up by the hospitals to receive those lungs.
Just for the lungs.
Just for the lungs,
Yeah,
right. And
right.
then there would be probably 3 they're lining up for each of the other organs.
And again, with what she's saying is the old boy told me that them lungs might not be good. Just with what she's saying, but the other organs will be.
Right.
So please donate.
Right.
Sorry about that.
No, and I think a lot of people don't understand how that works. But the reason they've notified 3 potential recipients, the first two might have something go wrong. If you have a fever or, you have an infection, then quickly need to make sure these lungs are given to someone else.
Yeah, somebody here at the transplant house got the call, went down there to the
Tim, we
ER.
can't see you though. We can't see you right this minute.
Yeah,
There
sorry.
you go. That's good.
Yeah, somebody from the transplant house just recently, within a couple months, had gotten a call to come receive their lungs, and they went down there. Protocol was to go to the ER, get swabbed for the COVID. The individual had COVID. They
So
sent them home.
They couldn't get transplanted.
Right. So, I mean, that's why they tried to line up the ducks, if you will.
Yeah.
And whoever, again, that first person might be COVID. The second person might have an infection from the scratch or whatever. And then come to me, and I'm going to come running.
So much has to align.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, to actually dive into the whole deal of transplant. I mean, call me silly, but I like to watch transplants and.
Yeah, one thing I just want to add about to the hospitals that are doing, these life-saving surgeries, that, when we were being evaluated for this transplant, what they have to consider is, you have to have money in some sort of an account to prove that you can take care of, like, staying at the transplant house or staying in a hotel.
Maybe meds that aren't covered by insurance.
Meds. All of that has to be up front and there, and they have to, the hospital has to see this before they will
even
send the
consider it.
okay for you. So, I just want to say to hospitals to try to, maybe help out where they can, with places like the transplant house or, just to have some kind of programs available for people that just don't have the money to be able to, they may have insurance to pay for the surgery or whatever, but those incidentals, those extra things, we've, just for us in 10 months, it's been about $15,000, just the extra place to stay, food, gas, and things like that. So the hospitals, I think, they might be able to help out a little bit too with that.
Yeah, because we all know that it's pricey, right? For the surgery, everybody wants some of theirs, but how about giving some to someone that needs it, And again,
we're going to have the Dancing with the Survivors. So get your dancing. I'm serious. They're king and queen of fundraising.
Yeah, and going back to the what Elaine was saying about the 2% of donors that actually we need more donors out there, and because there's so many people that are passing away waiting for an organ.
I know, that was our story with Matt and Lisa. He was supposed to be gone.
Yeah.
And it was a last minute reprieve, and they cannot talk about it without tears in their eyes. She said, you don't realize when you realize that something is about to be gone, you don't, that person, right? So I wonder, can we just, when we wrap this up, can we just take a round table here and start with Barb and Brian? Ultimately, for people who are watching this, whether they're waiting for a life-saving transplant or not, what would you offer as someone who had a chance at a second chance at life, as someone who has donated it? What would you say to these people who are watching in the way of inspiration?
I don't know. For me, it was easy. It's not as hard as you think. It was, next to giving birth to my children, it was the most wonderful thing I ever did in my life. It's something that, now I'm going to tear up now. It's, because he just had no life because he was working and taking care of kids, and then he was in the dialysis. He had no time and he felt terrible. And for me to be able to take that away from him and look at him now, he's doing great.
Yeah.
You just, I can't even put it into words. I wish I would have thought about it a little bit before that.
No, I hear your heart. And Brian, what do you say to people about, in the way of gratitude for what we have? Like, it's not lost on you.
Oh, no, not at all. Actually, there was one thing my daughter said. My daughter was 14 when I had my transplant. And she said to my sister, very sincere, she says, "Thank you for saving my dad's life." And that resonated through me, and Barb too. And I'm a very appreciative person to begin with. Then when that happened, I couldn't believe the magnitude of what my sister did for me, and you can't be nothing but grateful. So, as far as other people, I tell people all the time, I'm lucky to be here. I'm blessed. I've actually gotten better shape since I've had my transplant than I was the years before I got sick. Well, I was sick, declining. I'm in better shape now.
Awesome.
So it's just wonderful. Second chance, grateful. I tell people about it all the time. I'm not afraid to tell people, I'm 14 years into it now, still going strong, feel great.
Again, as of April 17th, 14 years since we met. It blows my mind that it happened to be the anniversary just a few days ago.
I can still remember it really clear.
It was a phenomenal day. And it was. We had a 4 o'clock news, a 5 o'clock news, a 6 o'clock. We're turning out versions for each one. And I was just in awe of what was happening in this love, between a brother and a sister. It was amazing.
And then you being there at the hospital with us.
Being part of it was pretty.
That was
so neat.
Yeah. I saw y'all in your little shower caps being wheeled back.
Well, you came to our 10-year anniversary, that little party we had. Remember we had a little get together?
That's right.
And you showed up for that too. We have pictures of that.
Yes. And that's what I would like to say, that honestly, the best blessing of being a reporter all these years is you meet people. I was talking to Elaine about this today, that your life is going to be better for keeping them close. And I feel that way about you, Barb and Brian. I absolutely do. Elaine, the same thing. Like, I can't imagine what stars aligned to introduce us, but I'm so inspired by the work that you do there at the Transplant House. And Jimmy, blessing of the Lees is how I met you. And now new friends, Donna and Tim. And that's together we can, together we will, and God weaves. Now watch them work. I can't say it enough, So Jimmy, final thoughts on gratitude for people who are listening, whether they need a transplant or not. I'm talking about all of us. What's your takeaway daily as far as gratitude?
You talking to me?
I knew it was coming. I knew. You talking to me? Yeah. We're wrapping it up. Just final thoughts.
It was breaking up.
Oh, okay. Sorry. No, I was just asking your thoughts on gratitude.
I think that until you actually, somebody that was considering being a donor, until you actually see the difference you will make in that person's life, whether it be family or somebody that, you don't even know because you passed away, it makes a big difference. I mean, I see it every day with my dad, And until you actually see your efforts working every day, something that you have done, there's no greater feeling.
Right.
I'm beside myself knowing that I made a difference.
Papa Sanderson.
I'd do it all over.
You would do it all over.
The one thing I'd like to mention, and I don't know if a lot of donors realize this, but in Jim's case, if he's only has one kidney left, and if he would have trouble with that down the road, they put him first in line because he donated a kidney.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Awesome.
I'm sure that works for all donors, whether it's a heart, lungs, or whatever.
Wow.
So that's good to know.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, and we sit here at the home of Jake and Jordan, the Riso kids that are all over the Good Stuff page. And gratitude's not lost on you, Dougie, today, being back from the hospital.
Yep. One thing I always say, living in Northeast Ohio, I mean, Cleveland gets a bad knock a lot of times, but living in Northeast Ohio, if you look at what we have for medical services and hospitals,
It's incredible.
it's phenomenal. We have world-class hospitals. We always focus on the children's hospitals. Akron has a great children's hospital. Cleveland has 2 of them. You look at the Cleveland Metro and Cleveland Clinic and University hospitals, and we are extremely fortunate to have what we have in Northeast Ohio, and to be able to go where we go and get the support we get, no matter what your condition is, no matter what your ailment is, no matter what it is. My first wife passed away from cancer, and we traveled the country to see different hospitals, to see what we could do, and we always came back to Cleveland as just what they could do, and it's the service that they can do. And we always talk about donate life, and it goes to save somebody's life. Even the tissue you donate, or if they use it for research, or if they use it for some other reason, it's helping somebody down the line, no matter what it is. Even if, like I said, even if it's just for research, it's helping somebody down the line. It's helping somebody's life down the line. I mean, we're talking about kidneys and lungs and hearts and things like that, but just the fact that they can do research on what you had, what ailment you had, makes a big difference. And again, Cleveland has great research hospitals, the Cleveland Clinic, University hospitals, Case Western Reserve. I mean, it's unbelievable what we have here compared to some other parts of the country.
So donatelife.net, if you haven't, it's not lost on me either that Mindy, his lovely wife, brought him some water in a what kind of glass? Harley Davidson. Look at that.
Yep.
So I feel like we need to have a ride soon.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Need to go hit Harley up and get Deb rolling with us.
Get Harley'd up. I bet you're quite a presence when you're Harley'd up. What are you? 6? What did you say?
6'4".
6'4".
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe therein is where the fundraising.
That leaves you out, Jimmy.
Jimmy.
So now I'm back to growing it.
That's awesome. All right. Well, I'm so glad to have met you, and just continued prayers.
Every one of you.
Yeah, absolutely. Y'all are an inspiration. And again, gratitude, I'm grateful, again, getting up every day, and I'm not going to quit until I get them lungs, and then it's on, and then the real fight begins, with life and doing something with my life other than just being here.
10 months without those grandkids, Tim. That's hard.
Yeah. Oh, we got great grandbabies. So we're
Really? Oh.
Yeah. 5 great grandbabies, and again, like I was just saying earlier, is if you please donate. There was a thing on today's show about a little guy that had gotten killed by the alligator at Disney World.
Oh.
His parents jumped into action and never even thought of being a child donor. You love your babies, and you never think, man, what if this baby happens to pass away? How about we donate? And, it needs talked about a whole lot more other than just this month,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We need to save lives, not take lives.
And this is what you're doing just by your example, your stories. Everybody has a story, and y'all are leading by example. And I love you for it. And I'm grateful for you guys today. And I can't wait till we come back and do a follow-up on how we have found a way to raise some money. Harley, I'm talking to you, Harley Davidson.
There you go.
Yeah, it could be so great. I just feel it. So keep in touch. Okay. We're going to make sure we keep in touch, and I will share everybody's contact information so that we can, in fact, stay. Now that we've done the God Weaves, now let's do the watch and work part.
Yeah.
So God bless you for all that you do.
Thanks for having us.
Take care, everybody.
So grateful.
Blessings.
Be safe.
Take
Love
care.
you more.